Three spine-chilling true tales of terrifying home invasions. Unexplained secrets revealed. Lisa could feel the icy breath of dread creeping over her suburban Ohio home. Strange noises slithered through the walls at night. Whispers, barely audible, danced like ghosts through the air, leaving her gasping for sanity. Was this the price of being a single mother? Protecting her 15-year-old daughter, Ava, became a desperate race against unseen horrors. The familiar comfort of their home morphed into a twisted labyrinth, where shadows flickered maliciously outside the windows, mocking her safety. It began innocently at first. A neighbor's cat vanished one morning without a trace. Then, another dog went missing, its collar found, abandoned and rusting by the nearby trees. The police shrugged her concerns off like bad weather. Just tired, they echoed, their voices hollow in their dismissals. It didn't matter how many nights Lisa spent awake on night shifts. The shadows that encroached on her life were now spilling into her dreams. Pulsing with fear, every gust of wind felt like a warning. Days turned into blurry sequences of unease. The perfect neighbor, Ben, with his warm smiles and friendly wave, turned into something malign. Gossip buzzed like flies, lurking beneath the surface of the tranquil neighborhood. Rumors of a criminal past circled like vultures, and Lisa's intuition screamed like an alert alarm. There was something off about Ben. She felt it when he lingered a bit too long on their porch, laughter too deep, eyes too searching. "Mom, why don't you like Ben?" Ava asked one day as they glanced at the man watering his flowers. The nerves in Lisa's gut twisted tighter. Did her daughter sense it too? The man had an unsettling charm, an almost predatory warmth. Watching them with eyes that felt like a deep well with no bottom, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lisa heard the soft scratching outside her window, her heart racing into a panic. It was just the wind, she told herself, whispering lies. But then, she looked closer. A pale glow flickered in the night, a reflection of Ben's unblinking gaze, pressed against the thick glass. Terror shot through her body. Ava was inside. What did Ben want? Did he know their fears? Lean into them like an old friend savoring their horror? Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Hours blurred into a fog of nightmares, each morning tainted with dread as Lisa's suspicions grew. Neighbors began to shift away from her, friendly smiles fading into whispers. Their kindness turned sour, masking fear that felt all too palpable. Lisa tried to reach out, but no one would listen. She was the odd one, drowning in terror while everyone else played at normalcy. Ben's friendly facade grew thicker, leaving her more isolated, trapped in a web woven from secrets older than the neighborhood's foundations. The deeper she dug, the worse it became. Old newspaper clippings revealed Ben had a past steeped in darkness, a string of inhabitants caught in his web, never to be seen again. Lisa felt the walls closing in around her like a vice. She was both protector and prisoner in this suburban purgatory. With horror clawing at her throat, she realized she had no choice. The distance between her paranoia and reality dissolved, revealing unthinkable truths. What if, in trying to save her daughter, she only sealed their doom? What if Ben was the neighborhood's monster, not a neighbor, but a predator? There in the shadows, as the darkness thickened to an almost liquid state, Lisa felt the air chill, the whispers rise. Suddenly, a thought exploded in her mind. How far would she go to shield Ava from the true horrors lurking next door? The night air hung heavy, suffocating Lisa with a sense of impending doom. She stood at the window, the pale light of the moon casting eerie reflections on the glass. The shadows outside seemed to thicken, shifting and moving as if they had an intent of their own. Her heart pounded, an erratic drumbeat echoing in her ears. A faint rustling broke the silence, pulling her gaze toward the porch. The porch light flickered, and Lisa felt her breath catch. Ben was there, looking up at her window with an unsettling calmness that sent shivers down her spine. Was he just friendly, Or was there malice dancing behind those eyes? The flickering light cast ghostly dapples across his face, mirroring the chaos swirling in her mind. Mom. Ava's voice cut through the anxiety, grounding her momentarily. What's wrong? Lisa swallowed hard, forcing herself to look away from the door. Nothing, honey. Just checking the weather. She smiled, though it felt as hollow as the threat looming outside. Can I have a snack? Ava asked, her back turned as she rummaged through the kitchen. Sure. Just don't leave the door, but the warning hung unspoken. Would a snack protect them from the darkness gathering at their doorstep? All her instincts screamed for caution. Suddenly, a loud thud resonated through the house. Lisa froze, heart racing, eyes darting toward the source of the sound. Ava, stay close, she hissed, rushing toward the front door. The walls seemed to close in around her, the corners whispering conspiracies, feeding her paranoia. A second thud reverberated heavier this time, and she realized it was coming from outside. Something, or someone, was trying to breach the veil of safety her home had once provided. Sweating, she edged to the window, peering through the flimsy curtains. Ben was gone. The shadows swallowed him whole. Both relief and dread washed over her. Maybe he hadn't meant to frighten her, or maybe that was simply part of his game. Just then, her phone vibrated violently against the counter. A text from a neighbor popped up on the screen. Did you hear the screams last night? The words sent a cold wave through Lisa's body. Screams. She felt the hairs on her neck prickle. What was happening in her peaceful suburban haven? Ava, she called, her voice rising in urgency. Lock the back door. Ava looked up, eyes wide with uncertainty, but nodded obediently. Lisa's gut churned. No more distractions. They needed to prepare for both the anticipated fight and the potential flight. She rushed to the hallway, unplugging the landline, silencing their home like a tomb. As the minutes dragged, her thoughts tumbled. What if Ben wasn't working alone? What if this was just the beginning? The night dragged on, endlessly searching for a reprieve that never came. Suddenly, a sharp knock erupted on the door, breaking the fragile silence. It was quick, urgent, but Lisa didn't move. Mom, who is it? Ava whispered, clutching a kitchen knife like a talisman against the encroaching night. Shoo. Lisa placed a finger to her lips, heart pounding a frantic rhythm. The knock came again, louder this time. A voice followed, casual and unervingly calm. Lisa? It's Ben. I just want to talk. I swear I mean no harm. Sickening dread pooled in her stomach. 1,000 thoughts flooded her mind, questions of trust and survival swirling like storm clouds. How much did she really know about him? Could he be lying? Mom. Ava pressed, terror lacing her voice. Lisa took a deep breath, forcing back the rising tide of panic. Stay back, Ava. Don't move. As she held her breath, the door shook under another violent assault, and fear spiraled into the marrow of her bones. What was Ben willing to do to get inside? Then came an unforeseen sound. A faint, distant scream echoed in the night, twisting through the air like a warning. Lisa's heart dropped. Who else had been awakened by this nightmare? What was that? Ava's whisper quaked through the tension. Stay hidden, Lisa ordered, locking eyes with her daughter. I need to go. With every nerve ablaze, she eased toward the door, heart racing, the air thickening. The door was cracking under the next orchestrated blow, and as she reached for the handle, she wondered how this would end. Her fingers trembling, Lisa began to grip the metal, knowing that opening that door could unleash a terror far worse than anything she had ever imagined. The metal felt cold and foreign beneath Lisa's clammy fingers. Every instinct told her to yank it open, to face whatever monster waited on the other side, but terror rooted her in place. A tremor ran through her as Ava's eyes widened, reflecting her mother's fear. Mom, please. Ava's whisper carried desperation, the kitchen knife quivering slightly in her hand. Don't open it. The door quaked again, splintering wood in protest. Ben's voice pierced through the growing chaos, smooth yet insistent. I can help you, Lisa. You don't understand. Help? How could he offer help when he was the source of her dread? The screams from the night echoed horrified cries that still lingered in the air like a bad perfume. The pounding didn't pause. Instead, it intensified, each blow a reminder that time was running out. Lisa stole a glance back at Ava, who stood small and terrified, a fragile figure against the looming weight of the dark. You need to hide, Ava, she urged, voice shaking. Please now. Ava shook her head, rooted to the spot. I don't want to be alone. With every second, the world around them spiraled. Seconds felt like hours as she wrestled with choices. Should she abandon her daughter for the chance to confront the threat? Torn between instinct and maternal loyalty, Lisa felt her heart race. Just stay behind me, she finally mouthed, her breath hitching. Ava nodded slightly, determination flashing through her wide, fearful eyes. Each stomp against the door seemed to echo the threat circling her home. With resolution born from desperation, Lisa turned her focus back to the door. She braced herself, fingers tightening on the handle. Whatever lay beyond was already clawing at their sanity. She couldn't let it in without a fight. You have to listen to me. Ben's voice took on an edge, now laced with frustration. You don't have the time. I'm trying to protect you. Protect us from what? Lisa shouted, her voice climbing. She was taking control, carving through fear with every breath. From you? There was a beat of silence. Then something crashed against the door with a sickening thud, making the walls rattle with violence. The hinges creaked, and Lisa felt her heart leap into her throat. Mom, Ava gasped, inching closer. Stay back. Her grip on the handle faltered for just a second, a moment of weakness she could not afford. The frantic knocks only heightened, as if the very night was pressing in around them. The shadows outside seemed deeper, darker, wrapping around the light like a predator prepared to spring. Suddenly, the door trembled again, then stopped. An eerie stillness flooded the room. Lisa's stomach dropped. Had he given up? Or was he just lying in wait, calculating his next move? Dread pulled at her insides. She strained to hear any sound, a breath, a whisper. Nothing. And then a soft rustle broke out behind her, deep within the kitchen. A dragging sound, slow and deliberate. Mom, what was that? Ava trembled, eyes darting toward the source. With a sinking feeling, Lisa felt her heart drop into a void of uncertainty. I don't know. Before she could process, a shadow slipped into view, just inside the threshold of the kitchen. It was low and creeping, slinking like a snake ready to strike. The atmosphere thickened, the air electric with tension as Lisa's eyes widened. The unmistakable shape of a crouching figure molded itself against the dark. Get back! Lisa screamed, her heart racing as she moved to shield Ava. The figure shifted sharply, revealing itself just enough to strike terror into Lisa's heart. Of face, twisted in a cruel smile, was more haunting than anything she had ever faced. Now, Lisa, the voice was smooth and slick, dripping malice beneath its charming surface. The real fun is just about to begin. Was Ben a pawn in something so much darker? Her heart raced as she desperately strained to comprehend her shifting reality. What was happening? Tomorrow would be a battle, but tonight turned out to be just the beginning of a nightmare they might never wake from. And as the figure advanced, all Lisa could do was prepare for the fight of their lives. A cold wave of dread washed over Lisa as the figure took another step forward, revealing more of itself. It lurched into the dim light, its body a grotesque blend of humanity and something far worse. The twisted smile stretched unnaturally, bones cracking softly as it moved. Lisa's breath came in short bursts, panic clawing wildly at her throat. Mom! Ava squeaked, her voice high and panic-stricken. Lisa instinctively pushed her daughter behind her, shielding her with her body like a fragile barricade. Stay close. The command came out as a shaky whisper, barely above a breath. She needed to think. Somehow, she had to protect Ava from whatever horror was encroaching on their sanctuary. The figure cocked its head, an imitation of curiosity or an unsettling mocking gesture Lisa couldn't tell. Its eyes, black and endless, pulsed with something malignant. It stretched one long arm toward them, revealing fingers that resembled spindled branches more than human digits. Isn't this what you wanted? It drawled, the voice smooth but laced with venom. Family time? Just the three of us? Lisa felt the bile rise in her throat. What do you want? She managed to choke out, eyes darting to the impossible dark corners of the kitchen, searching for an escape. The knife Ava clutched was nothing more than a toy against the impending threat. The creature laughed, a sound that rumbled low in its throat, drawing out into a sickening howl. It's not what I want, Lisa. It's what you've unleashed. Didn't you ever wonder why Ben is here? She could barely breathe. The sudden notion that Ben might be tied to this monstrosity struck her, a bolt of ice down her spine. How deep did the rabbit hole go? Ben, she said, voice quaking. Ben is your faithful protector. The figure grinned wider, mirroring a smile, so empty it sent shivers through Lisa's very core. The door rattled violently again, drawing her attention momentarily. She took a step back, pushing Ava further behind her, her mind racing. If she ever hoped to escape, now might be the only chance. Mom, what do we do? Ava whimpered, her voice trembling. Shalisa breathed, searching for a flicker of hope in the sinister pitch of the room. But the shadows were heavy, cloaking every potential escape route. Suddenly, a monstrous crash resonated from the door, splinters flying as something powerful pounded against it. Panic surged through Lisa as the festering figure seemed to revel in her fear, eyes sparkling with malevolent joy. Don't worry, I have all night. Let him in, and we can really begin. It taunted, twisting its head in a way that felt disturbingly unnatural. The frantic need to act gripped her. She scanned the kitchen, her life becoming tangled in the mundane objects that now felt like weapons. An old broom leaned against the wall. It was ridiculous, but it was all she had. Don't move. Lisa screamed at the creature, rushing towards the broom, thrusting out an arm like a phalanx of hope. The figure coiled back, but only for a moment. Now, that is not how you treat family. It crooned, lurking toward her like a predator closing in on its prey. That a sound roared in the distance. A deeper, more guttural thrum came from the door. All at once, the tension fractured. The door burst open with unholy force. Light flooded the room, revealing the horrible truth, but also showing Lisa an unexpected silhouette behind the door. It's Ben, his eyes wide, full of fear and something else, desperation. Get away from her, he shouted, leaping forward, urgency driving him toward the creature that had no business being part of their world. Lisa's throat tightened as she felt the ground beneath her shift, the figure hesitating before lunging back. In that moment, she could either fight the malice or surrender to the chaos threatening to swallow them whole. What is really happening? The question hung in the air, heavy as dread, spiraling like a whirlwind in Lisa's mind. But whether they would survive this madness or lose themselves in the darkness would depend on choices Lisa never anticipated having to make. And as the shadows swarmed closer, a deafening silence fell. Was this the moment everything unraveled? The answer seemed to pulse just beyond reach, drawing nearer as the fight for their lives began in earnest. Ben charged forward, a wild determination in his eyes. But as he entered the kitchen, the creature twisted its body like a serpent, blocking his path. The grin on its face stretched impossibly wide, as if savoring every beat of the growing dread around them. Ah, Ben, so nice of you to join us. It crooned, its voice dripping with malice. Stay back, Ben shouted, but his voice wavered. It didn't sound like the reassuring tone Lisa had always relied on. She felt her heart race, caught in a fatal crossroad of choices between the familiar and the unknown. The figure turned, its eyes flickering towards Lisa and Ava with a predator's intent. How sweet to play protectors, it mocked, its skeletal fingers gliding slowly down its own chest like it relished the moment. But do you understand the game? Lisa felt sick as she clutched the broom tightly, its wooden handle digging into her palm. She had seen the fire in Ben's eyes before, but now he seemed just as trapped as she was, caught in a web of terror that spun around them both. Ben, what is this thing? Lisa cried, her voice cracking with panic. I don't know, he stammered, a flicker of vulnerability flashing through him. I thought it was gone, but it's back. It's feeding on all the pain, the secrets we tried to bury. Secrets? Lisa's mind raced, but the truth felt slippery, just out of reach. Had they invited this horror in through their own choices, their own unspoken truths? I will show you, the creature hissed, narrowing its eyes at Ben. Help her to see, help her to awaken. The door behind Ben suddenly slammed shut, trapping them in the suffocating darkness. Lisa scanned for another exit, searching for any flicker of light in this nightmarish maze. Mom. Ava grasped tightly to Lisa's leg, trembling, eyes wide and shimmering with unshed tears. Listen, Ava, I need you to be very quiet, all right? Lisa whispered, feeling her own composure slipping as the shadows shifted closer. Movement caught her eye. The creature tilted its head, stretching its form unnaturally, its fingers unfurling as if beckoning. It'll be so much more fun if you let the truth out. Ben, trying to regain control, stepped closer, face tense. You don't have to listen to it, Lisa. Just hold on to the light, but before he could finish, the figure lunged toward him, moving like a burst of flames, making him stumble back against the wall. It was almost hypnotic to watch how it moved, fluid and grotesque, as if the normal rules of time and space didn't apply. Hold on to the light. The creature echoed mockingly. There is no light without darkness, dear Ben. Don't you remember what you did? What Lisa did? Lisa felt her heart drop. What did we do? She shouted, her voice raw with terror. I'll remind you. The tone became sharp, a blade cutting through the rising tension. Answer me this. How far will you go to protect your precious little Ava? What secrets would you bury to keep her safe? The intensity of its words burrowed deep into her. In that moment, the kitchen felt like it was closing in, breathing with grating eagerness. Mom, please, Ava whimpered, her small voice a fragile whisper. Suddenly, the kitchen erupted in chaos. Shadows leapt and twisted, forming shapes that inched closer, feeding off their fears. Lisa's grip on the broom tightened, but in the whirlwind of terror, she noticed the flicker of light from the corner of her eye. A tiny LED flashlight lay discarded on the counter, a remnant of a forgotten day. In that fleeting moment of clarity, an odd sense of urgency awakened within her. Ben, she screamed over the monstrous cackles reverberating through the walls. The flashlight. We can use it. But the creature lunged again, aiming right for Ava, who stood so vulnerable and small. Mom. The pure terror in Ava's voice struck Lisa like a physical blow. Every instinct screamed at Lisa to protect her child, but an even darker fear wrapped around her heart. Was fighting this thing the only path forward? As the creature advanced, shadows clawing at the edges of the light, Lisa's mind raced to piece together the fragments of dreadful secrets that festered in the air. Were they truly trapped in a web spun of their own making? Get away from my daughter. She howled, desperate, gripping the broom and drawing it back like a bat ready for a fierce swing. But would that be enough to chase the darkness away? Or would the light just entangle them deeper into its horrifying game? The flicker of the flashlight seemed to pulse as if answering her unspoken plea, but it would have to be their only hope if they could just reach it in time. Up ahead, in the deepening shadows, the creature's laughter echoed, mocking, swirling with the impending dread. What awaited them in the darkness may be worse than the creature itself. Could they confront their past before it consumed them whole? Lisa lunged toward the counter, outstretched fingers reaching for the flashlight. Each thud of her heart hammered in her ears, drowning out the creature's taunting laughter. It felt closer now, the air thickening with its insidious presence. Mom, no? Ava squeaked, terror paralyzing her small form. But Lisa didn't have a choice. Her instincts screamed that the flashlight was their last chance. With a final desperate dive, her hand grasped the cold metal of the flashlight. She twisted it on, and a beam of harsh light cut through the darkness, illuminating shadows that danced with a life of their own. The creature recoiled, its mocking expression melting into rage. Foolish girl, it screeched, slashing through the air as if trying to grasp at the light. Stay away from us, Ben shouted, regaining some strength as he rushed to stand beside Lisa. We're not afraid of you. But fear clutched at Lisa's throat. How could they not be afraid when they were standing against something so twisted and real? The light flickered against the creature's form, revealing jagged edges, a terrifying amalgamation of nightmarish shapes that twisted in and out of reality. In the glow, Lisa caught glimpses of the creature's true self, writhing bodies, distorted faces, the suffering of all it had consumed. It was terrifying. She felt her resolve inching away as the truth clawed at her mind. Ava, she turned to her daughter, squeezing the flashlight tighter. Listen to me. Stay close. Ava nodded, wide-eyed, her little hands gripping Lisa's skirt like a lifeline. The creature's eyes widened in fury, honing in on their connection. I will take her from you, it shrieked, voice dripping with malice. You can't protect her from the truth. The real darkness lurking inside you're all complicit. Secrets never die. Lisa felt the chill of every unspoken word they'd buried together, thickening the air between them. Don't listen to it, Ben shouted, stepping in front of them. We have to stand together. We have to fight. At that moment, the shadows began to shift, swirling eagerly around them, almost forming a vortex of despair. The creature's laugh echoed, taunting them, as if feeding off their fear. Lisa felt the panic threaten to swallow her whole. "Ben, what do we do?" she whispered, the weight of their shared history bearing down on her. "Just hold the light," he yelled, his own voice cracking with desperation. "Hold on to each other. We have to push it back." Every syllable felt like a fragile shield. Lisa shut her eyes for the briefest second, gathering her courage and focusing on the warmth of Ava beside her, the strength of Ben standing firm. They were united. When she opened her eyes, the flashlight beam pierced through the darkness, brightening their small circle. Shadows recoiled, howling in rage. "Keep it steady," Ben urged, pressing closer, the light reflecting off their faces, amplifying the resolve and fear mixing in the air. "Don't let it close in on us." With renewed hope, Lisa swung the flashlight toward the creature, feeling the power of the beam push against the deepening darkness. "Enough!" The creature roared, claws reaching out, scratching at the light. But then, it hesitated in the light's glow. It seemed almost human. For a fleeting second, Lisa caught another glimpse, the creature's twisted form shivering, eyes almost pleading, shadowed memories flickering behind them. "What are you?" she breathed, taken aback. "Don't listen," Ben shouted again, fear creeping back in, a growing thrum at the back of Lisa's mind urging her to retreat. "It's lying." But the creature lingered, as if waiting for her to draw nearer. The pulse of awareness kept drawing Lisa in, catching her off guard. Could it be working? Was it trying to show them no? The chilling shriek cut through her thoughts, shaking her resolve. "I'll take you all. You've invited me in. You're mine." In that moment, the shadows surged forward, pooling around their feet, crawling up their legs like a living nightmare seeking an entrance. Swallowing hard, Lisa called out through the overwhelming fear, "Fight it. We can get through this." The shadows clawed at her, the cold pressing in against her skin, trying to drag her down. Tears stung her eyes, and despair threatened to choke her. But she focused on the light, its flickering burn a testament to their shared hope, and then she felt it. A smaller, warm hand gripped her tightly. Ava's. "Mom." Ava's voice pierced the suffocating panic, pure and unwavering. "We are stronger together." And in that instant, the flashlight flickered, a bright burst that sliced through the shadows, illuminating a path straight through the heart of terror. Would it be enough to push back the darkness? In the growing light, the creature shrieked as if realizing it might lose everything. But Lisa could feel the distance closing in again. Each shift of shadows recaptured the weight of their unspoken fears. What would it take to break its hold once and for all? As the shadows surged toward them once more, Lisa braced herself. She would fight not just for Ava but for the truth buried beneath all that darkness. Would they find the strength to face what lay ahead or fall victim to their own buried horrors? The light surged, blinding and fierce, forcing the creature to shrink back, if only for a heartbeat. Lisa's heart raced as they stood, a fragile triangle of hope facing the encroaching darkness. But the creature wasn't beaten. It writhed in agony, its voice a strangled whisper mingling with the shadows. "Your light is nothing, just a flicker against the abyss." Its voice pulsated like a heartbeat, chilling and menacing. It clutched its head, as if trying to keep its essence from splintering apart, but the cracks were widening. "Stay close," Lisa urged again, feeling the cold dread crawl up her spine. Ben held his ground, gripping his own flashlight, the beam wavering but fierce, echoing a desperate collective determination. "There's something it's hiding," Ben shouted, almost as if he was trying to convince himself as much as them. "We need to uncover its weakness." But Lisa was losing her grip. The shadows felt more tactile now, like icy fingers brushing against her, each one dragging her down into the depths. Ava's small voice broke through, steady as the shadows writhed. "Mom," she whispered, eyes wide and shimmering. "What if we find out the truth? What if we're part of it?" "No," Lisa gasped, the very thought sending waves of despair crashing over her. Would unveiling hidden secrets only twist their reality further? The creature seized on this, its hellish face warping into cruel glee. "Ah, the truth. So delicious. Would you like to taste it?" Lisa stumbled back, breath hitching in her throat. She glanced at Ben, who shook his head vehemently, renewed resolve sparking like fire in his eyes. We can't believe it's lies. If it wanted to show us the truth, it would have done it already. A sudden gust rattled the windows, and shadows flickered to life, ghostly figures swirling outside the house. Each ghastly face seemed familiar, echoing memories long buried, the painful reminders of what they had avoided confronting. Fight, Lisa! Ben's voice was frantic. Focus on each other. The light will dim if we lose our connection. They needed to root themselves in the present, to cast out the past these dark things were dragging back. Trust us, Ava urged, clutching Lisa's hand as if it was a lifebuoy in a storm. We're together. We're strong. Lisa closed her eyes, allowing their connection to melt. The light quivered but didn't falter. She opened her eyes, focusing on the beam as it lashed out at the shadows. We've faced our fears. We want to be taken. The creature shrieked again, its voice a tortured scream that seemed to fracture the very fabric of the room. You will know despair. You will see what was buried. Suddenly, a wave of ice-cold fear surged, greenish tendrils creeping from the corners, reaching for them with ghostly fingers, tugging at the edges of their minds. Each one whispered secrets that had curled in shadow, waiting for the moment to poison their thoughts. Stop! Lisa shouted, her heart pounding as memories threatened to burst forth, moments of regret, guilt, unspoken blame stretching between them like razor wire. Push it back, Ben yelled, the light flickering dangerously but resolutely focused on their adversary. But the shadows lashed out, sharper now, bending reality, attempting to cloak the trio in despair. Tell me, the creature hissed, slithering closer. What lies have you hidden from each other? Share your fears, or they will consume you. Lisa could feel her heart racing, a primal fear uncoiling within her, trying to rip the truth from her throat. Could she really expose everything? Are you ready to sacrifice the little girl? The creature sneered. What price will you pay for the truth? A wave of horror washed over them. Lisa's hands trembled. The urge to flee pulled harder than ever. And then, within the depths of the darkest corner of her mind, something stirred, a memory she thought she had buried. Only together can we fight it, Lisa gasped, desperately searching for Ben and Ava's eyes, feeling the surge of hearts intertwined. Only together. But in that moment, the shadows howled louder, their cries layered with chasms of truth. Yet to fathom, would their unity be enough to drive away the horror, or would their secrets tear them apart once and for all? In the swirling chaos, Lisa's legs seemed to buckle, and as she felt the shadows beginning to engulf her, a chilling silence fell, leaving them suspended in a terrifying limbo, where the truth lingered just out of reach, ready to unravel everything they thought they knew. Lisa felt the weight of silence pressing in on her, a dense fog thickening around the trio as the shadows danced menacingly. She looked at Ben and Ava. Their faces were drawn tight with fear, yet their eyes burned with determination. The creature, coiling closer, took pleasure in their torment. Every inch it closed inspired a new wave of dread. Let us not lose ourselves to it, Ben cried, swinging his flashlight like a sword. The beam cut through the dark, holding back the encroaching tendrils. What do we do? How do we beat this thing? His voice trembled, the facade of confidence slipping. The truth, it wants the truth, Lisa murmured, her heart a drum in her chest. It wants us to unravel ourselves. No. Ava's small voice pierced through. We're not doing that. We can't. She trembled, clinging tighter to her mother's hand, as if it were the only lifeline left in this abyss. The creature's laughter echoed, shrill and haunting. Ah, little girl, sweet child. Your mother has secrets that can bring you joy or doom. Tell them to me, and you shall be free. Its voice twisted the air, molding it into grotesque shapes, curling and distorting reality. Shut up, Ben shouted, pointing the flashlight directly at the creature. The light shook, but a tremor of courage rippled through them. We will not tell you anything. You're only trying to tear us apart. Lisa felt an urge to scream. The creature reveled in their vulnerability, weaving around them like smoke, trying to touch their most sacred fears. Memories swirled in her mind, isolated moments, regrets, conversations left unfinished. Could she admit them? Would she become the source of their own destruction? No more games. Ben yelled. We fight back together. We shine our light against its lies. He stood firm, his flashlight illuminating their faces with fierce determination. Ava's grip on Lisa tightened. I want to let it take us apart, Mom. No secrets. The little girl's voice lifted the weight slightly, anchoring Lisa's resolve. But the shadows were relentless. They seeped closer, creeping along the floor like hungry serpents. You cannot fight what lies within you. Embrace your fears. Let them flow. The creature hissed, enticing, its serpent-like movements dancing around them. No, Lisa shouted. That is not who we are. She took a deep breath, grounding herself. It can't have power unless we give it to it. In that moment, a surge of warmth flowed through her. She remembered the good times, laughter shared, moments of triumph against the odds. Memories of love sparked in her heart, and suddenly, she felt the light intensify in her grasp. Together, she shouted, focus on every bright moment, every bond we share. The shadows hesitated, flickering as if unsure how to react to the sudden warmth of hope. But the creature roared, its piercing scream shaking the room. You will suffer every regret. You will know pain. Green tendrils lashed out at them, sharp as glass. Ben advanced, light shimmering as if it were made of pure energy. No, you're outnumbered. He pressed forward, boldness in his stance. We choose to embrace love and light. As they concentrated, the air thickened with tension, pressing down on them as they fought for their very essence. The creature screeched, thrashing wildly, trying to consume them, to drown them in darkness. That a moment of electricity pierced the stagnant air, and Lisa, heart pounding, could nearly feel the beating of truth calling from deep within. Say it, she urged, breathless. Let the truth forge our strength. In that stomach-churning instant, the shadows surged forward again, an army of despair rushing to smother their flicker of hope. But just as panic began to grip her again, the ground shook beneath them, sending tremors of whispers fluttering deeper truths, hidden fears begging to be free. What would happen if they spoke? Let their vulnerabilities fall. Could they withstand the unraveling, or would the shadows swallow the last of their resolve? The darkness roared, and Lisa felt the shadows tightening, threatening to rip away their connection. Would they break, or could they ignite their bond into something unstoppable? With the world tilting into chaos and the creature closing in, the answer hovered just out of reach. Would their combined light extinguish the monster once and for all, or would the shadows reveal a truth too horrific to bear? The chilling climax loomed ever nearer. The air crackled, alive with raw tension. Every pulse of fear coursed through Lisa as the shadows eagerly encroached upon her family. They were intoxicatingly close now, dragging away the last wisps of light with sinister whispers. The creature curled in delight, a mass of darkness seemingly eager for them to falter. No, Ben shouted again, his voice thicker with desperation. We have to believe. We have to hold on. He faced the writhing mass defiantly, the light from his flashlight flickering like the last candle in a storm. With trembling hands, Lisa gritted her teeth, trying to open her mouth, trying to find the words, knowing what she had to do. Memories flitted like moths in her mind. The laughter with her friends, every small victory that seemed trivial but now felt like life itself. But the creature twisted and coiled tighter. Ah, sweet Lisa, what does truth bring, if not chaos? It crooned, its voice echoing like dark music. What do you hide inside that fragile heart? Speak. Let them see you bleed. A chill seized her. Lisa felt the shadows slither beneath her skin, a cold dread wrapping around her heart. Could she really let them see her fears, her pain? Would it shatter the fragile barrier that kept them safe? She looked at Ava, whose wide eyes searched for assurance. Mom, Ava whispered, voice shaking under the pressure. No secrets, Lisa repeated, echoing her daughter's defiant claim. She drew a shaky breath, pushing against the weight of the creature's influence. We've risen above before we can do it again. And then, in a rush, memories flooded out, unbidden but sweet. When Ava was born, when she first smiled, the warmth stiffened her spine. When I lost my job, yet found strength I didn't know I had one by one. The moments poured forth, weaving a fragile shield against the encroaching horror. Ben, seeing the flicker of bravery, added, remember that camping trip? The stars, we counted them together. Uncle Jim's pancakes. Ava blurted out suddenly. And the baking we did for Dad's birthday. As the memories swirled, thickening the air around them, the shadows faltered, their mass shimmering in confusion. For every fear the creature unleashed, they countered with laughter and warmth. The shadows shrunk, the creature howled again, this time in frustration. No, what keeps you whole only makes you weaker. It screamed, the tendrils grasping and clawing, like angry rivers of liquid night. Lisa felt the creature's claws rake across her arm, sharp and biting. She gasped, but the pain ignited her determination further. No, we are not hiding. She raised her flashlight, focusing on the brightest memory, charging it. She felt the heat against her skin, like a fire stubbornly burning against the dark. Our truths are our strength. We choose love over fear. Together, Ben shouted, the light now a force of nature. The shadows faltered again, retreating, shrieking as if burned. But the creature roared, a sound filled with rage that pierced the dim expanse. You cannot win. I will draw you into despair. A sudden quake rippled the ground beneath them, and they stumbled, the light wavering. The walls shook, revealing cracks like accusations in the very fabric of their reality. Lisa's heart raced, blood pounding in her ears. This was no mere battle of light against darkness. This was an unraveling, a revelation. Hold on, Ben yelled, trying to stabilize the beam. But the shadows were relentless, rushing in like starving wolves, hungry for flesh. The world around them twisted, distorting into nightmare shapes. There was no safe ground, just chaos screaming for attention. Out of nowhere, a chilling whisper reverberated around them, wrapping around Lisa's heart. What lies deep within will be known, and the truth will cost you dearly. Chills raced down her spine. What truth? And at what cost? Just when it seemed the darkness would overwhelm them, there was a blinding flash of warmth, pulsing through like a heartbeat. With it came a fragment of revelation, teasing and taunting, tantalizingly close. Could they withstand the creature's dark intent? Or would they pay for their truths with more than they imagined, losing themselves to the darkness once and for all? As the shadows gathered, ready to strike, the question lingered in the frigid air. What would they sacrifice to hold onto the light? The air crackled with tension, thick as the shadows swelling around them. Lisa's heart raced as she clung to the light, a fragile beacon in the suffocating darkness. Ava's small hand gripped hers, their bond a lifeline in this swirling chaos. Ben stood resolute beside them, his flashlight flickering but unwavering, too. You have to hold on to each other, Ben yelled, his voice cutting through the oppressive fear that clawed at their sanity. This thing wants to divide us. We can't let it. The creature writhed, its form a grotesque dance of malice, eyes swirling with ancient secrets. You'll pay for every whispered sin, every buried truth, it hissed, the darkness coiling tighter around them, icy tendrils leaching warmth. But Lisa felt the warmth of Ava's hand, the strength in Ben's stance, and knew they had to fight together. Remember, she breathed, struggling to keep her voice steady against the storm, whatever fears this thing reveals, we can push it back with our light. We can face it. The shadows twitched, responsive to her resolve. You are fools, the creature crooned. How can you face a truth you're terrified to see? Lisa swallowed hard, each heartbeat echoing the weight of those words. It was true the fears had wrapped around her like chains, but she had to be braver, for Ava and for herself. Memories flared in her mind, fragile yet fierce, and she drew strength from them. We fought to create hope even in despair. She declared, her voice trembling but firm. To love is to embrace vulnerability. Ben shouted, taking a step toward the creature, light shimmering in his eyes. He risked everything, standing boldly against the dark. We won't let you drown us in our past. Encouraged, Lisa turned to Ava. We need you, honey. You're part of our strength. Ava lifted her chin, courage shining in her eyes. I'm not afraid, she shouted, lifting the knife high. As if it were a sword made of pure light, the creature recoiled, its form trembling as the combined warmth of their spirits illuminated the dark. Enough, it screeched, an unholy cry, morphed by rage. You're all doomed to repeat your sins. With every pulse of fear it launched toward them, they countered, recalling joyful memories and shared laughter. The light grew brighter, pushing backward the encroaching darkness, casting shadows away like a dawn breaking the night. Together, Lisa screamed, "We'll carry our truths with us." In a powerful surge, they focused all the love they shared, every moment of laughter, every hardship overcome, every ounce of hope they nurtured through years of life together. The light exploded with a golden glow, blasting through the thickest shadows and illuminating the grotesque figure before them. "No!" it shrieked, agony distorting its features as tendrils clawed back, losing solidity, unraveling in the brilliance. You will regret this. I hope you remember what we've shown you." Lisa yelled, watching the creature dissolve into an ethereal mist, terrified yet resolute. With one final blast of light fueled by their united hope, the creature screamed, a haunting symphony of rage and despair. Then it exploded into shards of darkness, fading away into nothingness. Releasing their home from its grip, silence descended, thick and heavy, like a held breath released at last. Lisa felt the weight lift off her chest, light flooding the room, revealing her and her daughter standing against shadows that had once threatened to engulf them. "We did it," Ava whispered, her eyes bright, glimmering with only a hint of fear. "We really did it. We won," Ben confirmed, breathing heavily, a mix of relief and disbelief etched on his face. Lisa nodded, wrapping her arms around Ava and pulling her close. In that moment, a warmth filled the air, cleansing. No more secrets loomed. No more darkness chased them. They had faced the horror together and emerged into the light. Stronger and united as the dawn broke outside, spilling golden rays over their home. Lisa felt hope surge within her, a promise of new beginnings. Darkness would always lurk, but together they could withstand anything. Side by side, bonded by truth and unfettered love, they stepped into their new day. This was a fresh start, a brick laid in the foundation of a deeper connection. They were ready to embrace whatever life had to offer. Now, true fans, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button to feed the algorithm and ensure these stories continue. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. Your voice matters, and we want to hear it. Let's build this community together.